how good was white chocolate actually? Now look, man, y'all already know we already reacted to a couple of other white chocolate videos, like his highlights and shit like that. So we about to react to how good he was, where he started, and all this type of stuff, man. Now look, if y'all want to see more white chocolate, let me know in the comments. But look, man, like, comment, subscribe. But let's go ahead and get to the vid, man.
They called him White Chocolate, and he is arguably the most creative passer in NBA history. He was criticized for substance not matching the flashy style, but he shut the haters up by winning a championship. But was Jason Williams really as good as his highlights? White Chocolate was a baller from the get-go. His father worked and lived on the campus of DuPont High in West Virginia, so Jason grew up with the keys to their gym. Like a kid in a candy store, little Jason took advantage of those keys to the fullest. He'd go to the gym late at night and spend countless hours working on his ball handling, passing, and shooting. Williams would even put ankle weights on his wrists and wear leather gloves to make his handles quicker and better. At the age of 4, he could already dribble without looking at the ball, and when he was 7, Jason knew that one day he'd be an NBA player. When he started playing for DuPont High School, Williams was already notorious for his ball handling. He was a star even as a freshman. But at the beginning of his sophomore year, an even bigger star showed up. It was none other than Randy Moss, a future NFL Hall of Famer. Randy was as athletic and talented as they get, and on top of playing basketball and mossing everyone on the football field, he was also running track and playing baseball. Moss and Williams grew up less than a mile apart and were great childhood friends. Together, they formed one of the most dynamic duos in high school basketball history, with Jason's killer dribbling and perfect alley-oops, and Randy jumping over people and dunking everything in sight. The two friends played 2 years together, and in 1994, during Jason's senior year, they led DuPont to the state championship game. But even with 17 points, 11 assists, and 9 rebounds from J. Will, and 33 points and 14 rebounds from Moss, DuPont lost 79-73 to Martinsburg. Despite the loss in the finals,
I think I almost had a trip dub. Tough.
Williams was named West Virginia Mr. Basketball, Martinsburg. Despite the loss in the finals, Williams was named West Virginia Mr. Basketball, an award that Moss would win a year later in both basketball and football. Overall, Jason averaged 18 points and 10 assists during his high school career, and he's the only player in DuPont history to reach 1,000 points and 500 assists. After that, Jason enrolled at Marshall University under coach Billy Donovan, and not coincidentally, Randy Moss also joined Marshall 2 years later, but this time focusing only on football. Williams redshirted his first season, and in 1996 as a sophomore, he averaged 13.4 points and 6.4 assists per game. Soon after, Coach Billy Donovan left to coach the Florida Gators, and Williams felt abandoned. Without a coach he trusted, Jason decided to leave as well, joining Donovan at Florida University, even though switching schools meant he'd need to sit out another year. As a senior at Florida, Williams averaged 17.1 points, 6.7 assists, and 2.8 steals per game. But with success came trouble. Williams was an avid weed smoker, and after failing a drug test, he got suspended for 3 games. When he returned to the court, Jason was mad as hell, eager to prove that they made a mistake by suspending him. Against Duquesne, he set a school record with 17 assists in a game, and in the next game, he led Florida to a victory against title favorite Kentucky. But just before March Madness, Williams got busted again, and this time, because smoking was a repeated offense, Florida had no choice but to suspend him for the rest of the season. His friend Randy Moss went through the same thing, and also missed 1 season in college for marijuana use. But despite being a
Hey man, that gas was being smoked in West Virginia, man. What you think these? Come on, man. What y'all think? He's smoking that big gas.
certified stoner who was only 6'1", weighing $170, and even though he missed 2.5 out of 4 college seasons, Jason Williams was still in high demand at the 1998 NBA draft. Jason was considered the second best point guard in the draft and got selected 7th overall by the Sacramento Kings, getting drafted ahead of Dirk Nowitzki and Paul Pierce. When he finally made it to the NBA, Williams immediately became one of the most popular and most exciting players in the league.
Pops it up right to Jason Williams. Williams crosses over, loses Gary, drives into the lane, arcs the high one out the window, up and in.
J-Will dazzled fans with fearless drives, flashy spins, ankle breakers, impossible behind-the-back passes, and crazy pull-up three-pointers off the dribble. During his rookie year, a PR staffer from the Kings dubbed Williams White Chocolate, because this skinny white boy was playing like he was straight out of Compton, always pulling the flashiest moves on the court. And even though Williams was extremely inefficient, even for the 90s standards, shooting just 37% from the field and 31% from deep, his uncanny showmanship brought fans out of their seats, and that's all that mattered. In the Rookie Challenge during the 2000 NBA All-Star Weekend, Williams made a no-look behind-the-back pass off the elbow to Rafe LaFrentz, which was one of the best passes in NBA history, and something nobody had ever seen before. Despite his inefficiency, Jason had good overall numbers, and with the averages of 13 points, 6 assists, and 2 steals per game, he ended up second in the Rookie of the Year voting behind Vince Carter. The Kings were known as one of the biggest losers in the NBA. But that all changed with the arrival of Jason Williams, Vlade Divac, Peja Stojakovic, and Chris Webber, who all joined the team for the 1998-99 season. They were also the first NBA team that used the Princeton offense, which is an offensive basketball strategy that emphasizes constant motion, backdoor cuts, picks on and off the ball, and disciplined teamwork. It was used and perfected to great success at Princeton University by Coach Pete Carroll, who in 1997 became an assistant for the Kings. The Princeton offense fitted like a hand to a glove for the Kings' two big men, Webber and Divac, who were both amazing passers. With Williams playing extremely fast and always pushing the tempo with the ball, Sacramento led the NBA in pace, and they became the most attractive team in the NBA. But even more importantly than fast pace and flashy passes, Sacramento had its first winning season since 1983. In the first round of the playoffs, they ran across the Utah Jazz, who came off 2 finals trips against the Bulls. Sacramento was inches away from advancing, but John Stockton's game-winning three-pointer pushed the series to the deciding Game 5. Playing at home, the more experienced Jazz prevailed and won the series, but the Kings showed plenty of promise. Next season, Sacramento continued to play super fast attacking basketball, leading the NBA in pace, points, and three-pointers attempted. This style was perfect for White Chocolate, who was among the best passers in the league with 7.5 assists per game. For the second year in a row, Williams was second in the NBA in three-point attempts, but the big problem was that he was making less than 30% of his deep shots. Despite many offensive weapons and great flow of the offense, the Kings were as thin as paper defensively, which again cost them when it was most important. Sacramento played Shaq and Kobe's Lakers in the first round and convincingly lost the first 2 games in LA. However, in Sacramento, they managed to fight back and push the series to the deciding Game 5. But in the final game of the series, the Lakers trashed the Kings 113-86, and Sacramento's defense couldn't cope with prime Shaq. Despite his many qualities, Jason Williams also had a high number of turnovers and poor shooting percentages, and Rick Adelman benched him in every fourth quarter of the series. When the 2001 season started, the Kings were stronger than ever.
Series. Hold on, what the fuck? For what? Damn, why you benching him every fourth quarter? Hey, what we doing?
Quarter of the series. But when the 2001 season started, the Kings were stronger than ever. Their defensive issues were solved by bringing in a lanky small forward, Doug Christie. And they also added Hedo Turkoglu, one of the best European big men from that era. The team mastered the Princeton offense to perfection, and the harmony of their offensive sets was fascinating. It seemed like they could play with their eyes closed. Backdoor cuts, no-look passes, alley-oops, transition threes. The Kings were ahead of their time, playing an early version of the modern NBA game we see today. Chris Webber was playing at the MVP level and finished 4th in MVP voting. Stojakovic became a permanent starter who averaged over 20 points. Divac made the All-Star team, and Christie made the All-NBA defensive team. Williams still created a spectacle, but the flashy style was often at the expense of the substance. He was the only player on the team whose statistics decreased, and White Chocolate averaged only 9 points and 5 assists per game. However, the Kings again led the NBA in points scored, and the defense climbed into the top 10. They finished the season with 55 wins, the most in franchise history, and their hopes were extremely high for the playoffs. In the first round of the playoffs against the Suns, Sacramento was firing on all cylinders, with all 5 starters averaging double figures in points. They defeated the Suns 3-1, after which they faced the defending champions, Shaq and Kobe. The Kings fans hoped that they would be better than the year before and possibly upset the Lakers, but they got a big slap in the face. The Lakers were unstoppable that year, and they swept the Kings, even though Sacramento was very close to victory in 3 of the 4 games. But while the other starters played great in that series, White Chocolate struggled. He averaged only 5 points and 3 assists on a horrible 29% shooting. And despite being the most popular player on the team, Sacramento's GM GM Geoff Petrie knew he needed to find someone better. So a few months after the season ended, Jason Williams was traded to the Grizzlies for Mike Bibby, who was a far better shooter and defender than Williams. And while Bibby led the Kings to the greatest success in franchise history, White Chocolate was given complete freedom with the struggling Memphis team. Jason averaged a career high in shot attempts, even though he was still a horrible shooter. Still, 15 points and 8 assists per game didn't look too bad, and he was in the top 10 in the league in assists. In 2003, he further tamed his extravagant playing style, and with over 8 assists and less than 2 turnovers per game, he was the second best passer in the league and had the highest assist per turnover ratio. In the next 2 years, White Chocolate helped Memphis reach the playoffs for the first time, but they lost in the first round both times. By the end of 2005, and after 4 years with the Grizzlies, Williams was at a career crossroads. He was 30 years old and wanted to play for a contender. To answer his prayers, his enormous next-door neighbor from Orlando called him on the phone. That neighbor happened to be none other than Shaquille O'Neal, who asked Jason if he wanted to join Shaq in Miami. Super excited, White Chocolate said yes, and Shaq then handed the phone to Pat Riley, who then showed why he is such a boss and started working his magic. A few days later, Williams became a new member of the Heat in a colossal trade that saw 13 players change teams. And what was the biggest trade in league history?
A guy that I have to mention that I really had fun playing with, White Chocolate in Miami. Oh, White Chocolate was nice to play with. Because I could just put my hand up like that and the ball would be right there. He knew where. You know what? Every time. Every time.
Starting for the Heat and fighting for the championship gave Williams new wings, and he played the best and most efficient basketball of his career. White Chocolate was now a super savvy veteran who wasn't showboating anymore. And while there were fewer fancy passes, he was playing his role to perfection, pushing the tempo, giving the ball up with minimum turnovers. Miami went to the finals, where they defeated the Mavericks after a huge comeback, and Jason Williams had shut down all the doubters that said he was just a flashy player who will never win anything. Williams started every game for the Heat in the playoffs, averaging 9 points and 4 assists per game, and was finally crowned a champion. In the next 2 years, White Chocolate battled persistent knee injuries, and his numbers decreased, even though he still remained a starter for the Heat. Then in the 2008 offseason, Williams signed a 1-year deal with the Clippers, but just a month later, he announced his retirement from the NBA because his knees were worn out. He missed the entire 2009 season, but his love of the game was still strong. So Williams pulled a Michael Jordan move and decided to come back to the NBA. In 2010, White Chocolate signed with Orlando, and he played in all 82 games for the Magic that year, with the best shooting percentages of his career. He also played in all 14 of their playoff games, as the Magic advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they lost to the Boston Celtics in 6 games. In the following season, Williams signed a new contract with Orlando, but following another knee surgery, he fell out of rotation and got traded to Memphis. With the Grizzlies, Jason played another 11 games, after which he announced his second and final retirement from the NBA. At any point in his career, Williams was never among the 5 best point guards in the NBA. He didn't make an All-Star team, nor did he ever win any major awards. Still, White Chocolate captured the imagination of basketball fans worldwide. He was the most attractive average player in NBA history, pulling moves we haven't seen before or since.
That's crazy, bro. I can't believe he ended up to an All-Star team. Nobody ever voted him in. Nobody didn't want to see him. Oh, that was the rookie Rising Star game, wasn't it? That wasn't an All-Star game. I'm about to say, what, he in an All-Star game? He did an elbow pass? But damn, that's crazy, man. Look, like, comment, subscribe. If y'all want to see more Jason Williams on this channel, man, let me know in the comments, man. I got y'all. Y'all already know what's going on, man. Okay.